Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about spring colors. So I have been eyeing this meant to be bundle and the cute as can be, that's the actual name of the paper pack, DSP, for, well, a couple of months now. And I finally decided that it was time to feature it. So I had some fun this weekend playing with bright spring colors and adorable little bee images. And I've designed 3 cards to share with you today. Actually, 2 cards and a project. I'll just kind of tease that. I'll show it to you in a few minutes. And then I've got some extras that I was kind of playing around with. But oh my goodness, it's such an adorable suite. And it's actually one that a lot of people missed because it came out as part of the scrapbooking offering back in January. So if you were not paying attention to that, you may well have missed it and not even known it was here. So I'm going to show you the product. And then we are going to make 3 projects and I'll show you a few extras at the end. So if you are joining me, whether it is live here or you're catching the replay later on, let me know that you're here. It's always nice to know that somebody's out there and I'm not talking to the wall like I'm used to doing at school. I am a high school teacher for the next 48 days, I might add. So I'm going to show you but hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me know that you're here. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you the projects, or the product, I should say. Wow. Okay. It is a Monday that feels, or Tuesday that feels like a Monday. We had a day off yesterday for Easter, so I'm a little bit out of sorts. All right, so these are the new products, but I wanted to show you why you need to add this to your collection if you already have these. So these, this little bundle, the Be Mine bundle with this little bee builder punch and this adorable stamp set came out a couple of years ago. Or maybe it was just a year ago. I don't remember. It was in the Spring Mini, and it's just the cutest little stamp set and coordinating punch. It was part of a Valentine's offering. And so I use these quite a bit. If you look at my stamps, they're quite stained in red, right? I use them a lot for Valentine's Day. And then I kind of tucked them away, and I haven't really pulled them out all that much since. But once I saw this new bundle and this new paper, I was like, oh, there's all kinds of things I can do with this with the addition of those extra sentiments and punch. So this is the new bundle. This is the meant to be bundle. The best thing about this bundle are these nesting hexagon dies. So they actually are double bladed dies. So they cut a frame and then the solid shape in the middle. So you actually get lots of different sizes of hexagons with these dies. And then there are a couple of different sizes of bee. We've got our little antenna. This one says Our Hive. So this is intended for scrapbooking, but really cute things you can do with those dies. These are, of course, the wings, and then some extra flowers and whatnot. So just a super cute bundle. Here are the stamps. So obviously we're layering our bee. So there's the body and the stripes and the wings, and there's some different expressions on their faces. And of course you can pull in this other stamp set for even more expressions, right? We've got sort of that, I don't know, what is that? That sideways glance, the side-eye bee. We've got the winky bee. So there are lots of different expressions you can get if you combine it with this stamp set that you might already have in your stash. So that is the bundle, but let me show you this paper. So this paper is a recolored version of the original DSP that came out in shades of red for Valentine's Day, but I love this actually so much better because I like the spring colors. And I don't know what it is about these little bees, but it got me thinking baby cards. So you're going to see 2 baby cards today. I don't often do baby cards, but lately I've been having lots of people asking for them. So that's kind of been on my mind. But look at these adorable little bees and these happy, happy springtime colors. So lots of different bee patterns. Love this little spring flowers, these little bouquets. And then we've got some happy little buzzy bees. We've got our honey jars. And then we've got our bees with hearts. So what I like is we've got bees with flowers and bees with hearts. So you can combine them or just use one or the other. And then on the back, we've got lots of just more subdued patterns. Love this. This is Petunia Pop, this plaid. You're going to see that on our first project today. We've got our little contrails, our bee contrails in Old Olive. We've got some hearts. This is in the Bubble Bath and Petal Pink. Those 2 colors were made for each other. We've got a stripe in the, Petunia Pop and Bubble Bath. Did I say Petal Pink? It's Petunia Pop. And then we've got some little daisies. Love those. And then we've got our sort of honeycomb pattern. So just really, really cute paper. And like I said, I like this so much better than the red because I feel like the red is very Valentine-y, but this really gives me some more options. So let me just say hello to those who have joined us. We've got Jeannie K and Chili Fredericton. Yeah, it's cool here today, but the sun is shining, so I'll take that. Hi, Sherry in Southern California. I'm betting it's quite nice and sunny there. Hi, Mia and Terry. Welcome. Hi, Deb. Welcome. Hi, Helen. Suzanne in Wisconsin. Diana, welcome. Yes, free shipping tomorrow is very exciting. Thank you for reminding me to mention that, Diana. So tomorrow through Friday, Stampin' Up! Has a free shipping promo on orders here in Canada of $100 or more. So that is pretty sweet. So you can get your free shipping and your Stampin' Rewards right on your $100 order. So that is a sweet deal. Good time to stock up on cardstock, which is going up in price on May 6th when the new catalog drops. So do an inventory and check it out. All right, we got Judy and Lauren and Laura, Kathy, welcome, welcome. Hi, Louise. Hi, Cheryl, long time no see. All right, so the first card we're going to put together is this cute little baby one. So it just says cute as can be. And then on the inside, I did a congratulations. So this could be a baby. This could actually be really good for like an adoption as well, because it doesn't say anything about a new baby, right? So I thought this would be a really good sort of generic card that could be used for lots of different occasions. And this is all about the DSP, this card. So we have our 4 by 5¼ inch piece of that fun Petunia Pop plaid. And then we have, actually, we're going to do our ribbon first. Hang on, give me a ribbon. I was going to layer that, but first I'm going to do my ribbon. So this is, I don't even know what this ribbon is. It's an online exclusive. I've used it a few times before. It's got this lovely sort of knit texture, but it's really, really soft. It's a 1/4 inch. Is it a 1/4 inch? Yeah, 1/4 inch wide. Just 1/4 inch wide white ribbon. And it is really, really lovely. I keep finding myself reaching for it because it's got this great sort of woven texture. So I'm just going to take and adhere one end to the back of my panel here and then run it across the front and add another glue dot and wrap it around and secure it. So this is my cheater way of doing a ribbon treatment without wrapping all across the back and wasting ribbon. So now that we've done that, we can go ahead and layer this on a pool party panel. This is a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we'll go ahead and pop this on. This is a super quickie card. I'm trying to pace myself and not do all wow cards. So I'm trying to do some quick and simple ones for those of us that are maybe newer crafters or just need a card in a hurry, and then kind of step it up as I go. So you can let me know if I'm succeeding. This is a pretty quickie. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and glue this onto our card base. Our card base is a piece of basic white, thick cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we'll just fold that in half along our score line. And then add a bit of glue. And we'll pop that on. Just like that. I always like to burnish from the back, just in case I have, sticky fingers or smudgy ink, so I don't leave fingerprints on the front of my card. The back, who cares? And then I have a couple of hexagons that I have die cut using the die. So this is that cute little heart pattern. And then just a plain one in the Petunia Pop. So we're going to stamp directly on the DSP. This is your reminder that you are allowed to stamp on DSP. It is paper 2. So I'm just going to stamp in some Memento black ink. So I'm going to ink this up. I want it to be really well inked because I want to get as crisp and clear an image as possible. If you're worried about getting a really crisp image, you could certainly heat emboss in black. That would give you a really stark image. I didn't want quite that bold black. I wanted just enough that you could read the sentiment. So there we go. There is our cute as can be sentiment. Then we're going to go ahead and glue that onto our layer. So a little bit of glue here. Yeah, I'm the same, Mia. I have a hard time keeping it simple. Very hard time. So it's actually good that I'm trying to do this because it's a challenge for me to try to keep it simple and accessible for everybody. All right, so we're going to go ahead and layer that. A couple of dimensionals on my little hexagon. I'm not putting them right across the middle because that's where my ribbons, oh no, I'm good. My ribbon's going to run there, and I didn't want it to sort of sit on my ribbon. It doesn't necessarily adhere all that well when it's sitting on the ribbon. So we're going to go ahead and stick this on. I'm centering my hexagon on the ribbon. I don't often do that. Those of you who like symmetry will be proud of me today. And then we're going to add some little fussy cut bees. So these, I just used my paper snips and fussy cut them out from the paper. They are not hard to cut at all. So even the most anti-fussy cutters among us can handle this one. So I'm going to put a little mini dimensional there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of seal where it's going to overlap my popped up hexagon. And we're just going to have him just flying onto the label like that. And then this little guy is going to be coming on from the other side. So once again, I'm going to add a mini dimensional and then a little bit of seal. And we'll just have him coming on from the other side. Okay. And then we're going to tie a little bow with our same ribbon. So what I like most about this ribbon is how nicely it ties. I think it's it really gives you a nice tight knot and nice loops that hold their shape. Of course, you have to start with your loops straight. So let's just adjust that. There we go. Just give that a bit of a pull. Oh, that's a little bitty bow. That's all right. We got a bitty bow on this one. So we're going to add that just at the point of the hexagon where it meets the ribbon. And I'm actually sticking it onto the cardstock rather than on the ribbon. That will make sure it sticks better. If you stick it on the ribbon, it's going to flop a little bit. And then our last touch here is to add some of these little heart sequins. Now, these are currently out of stock, but they are coming back, I think sometime in May. So they'll be ones that you'll want to keep an eye on if you haven't grabbed these. They're super cute. Awesome for all kinds of projects, not just Valentine's Day. And I thought they worked really well with our little heart patterned DSP there. We're just going to add a few more of these little guys. Come here, you. Put one up here. There we go. Isn't that cute? And then on the inside, we're going to stamp the inside just because we can. And I had some extra scraps of DSP. So this is just a 3/4 by 5 1/4 inch scrap. We're going to glue that on the inside. This is a great way to not only decorate the inside of your card, but also use up those little scraps that you have kicking around, right? I hate throwing out scraps, but I will do it if it means my craft room is less cluttered. So if I can find a way to use it, it's better than throwing it out. And I'm just going to add another little fussy cut bee here. And he's going to be flying. He's carrying a heart. Let's put him there. And then on the inside, I'm going to stamp my congratulations as soon as I figure out what I did with it. I think I put it in the wrong basket. There it is. So we're going to stamp that in black. So we'll add that. There we go. And then I've got these itty bitty hearts from the Be Mine, or Be My Valentine, this little guy. These little hearts right here. As soon as I figure out where I put them, I think I put them in the wrong bin. Didn't do a very good sorting job today. They're there. For later, we're going to stamp these little guys in some Petunia Pop just to kind of carry the little heart theme from the front. There we go. Super cute, super quick. You like that one? All right. Yeah, Mia, do challenge yourself. It's actually kind of fun to try to keep it simple. It can be frustrating at first, trust me. But it's also kind of fun to just try to pare it down and limit yourself to a few supplies. So there you go. That is a quick and easy number one. Let's move on to project number two. So very rarely will I show you a 3D project. I'm really big on cards. I'll occasionally show you a scrapbook page, but I will not often make a 3D project. But I had this idea, and I was inspired by the chapstick, the lip balm that I keep by my desk down here. So this is a little tube of Burt's Beeswax lip balm. This is my favorite kind. And so this little holder is just a little way that you could gift, make a cute little favor at a party or a shower or at a retreat. I know some of you are demonstrators if you're looking for little sort of gifty ideas for retreats. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make this. It is super quick. It's going to be quicker because I've already done a lot of the stamping just in the interest of time. So we've got all our little bits here. So I've already gone ahead and stamped and die cut my bee, but we're going to stamp his happy smiley face. So let's do that. Oh, I got an extra set of antennas here. I got one that I stamped and one that is not yet stamped. We only need one. So I'm going to stamp my happy bee. Isn't he cute? So cute. And then we're going to assemble him just while we are here. And then we will put together the actual project. So I've got my little wings. So I find the easiest way to glue these on, I just put a little bit of seal. I lay it on my table and then I just kind of lay my bee over top and press the wings into place. And that way I can kind of get them even. Okay. And for the antenna, we're just going to take a glue dot, put it on the back of his head. And then I'm going to take my little antenna and just stick him on. Oh, he's a little cockeyed. There we go. Isn't he cute? And then same thing with the heart. This little heart, again, is punched with the Bee Builder punch from some Petunia Pop cardstock. Wow, words are hard today. And we're just going to have our little heart on his chest like that. Okay. All right. So let me show you how to put together this little lip balm holder. So this piece, I've got my measurements here. They're also in the video description. So this piece is cut to 2.5 by 3 inches. And then with the 3-inch side at the top, I scored at 5/8, 1 1/4, 1 7/8, and 2.5. Okay, so that's going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. This last segment is only a 1/2 inch. All of the others are 5/8. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just fold all of these little score lines inwards. Okay, and you can see how that is going to make a little box. So we're going to go ahead and glue that. I'm going to just grab my bone folder here and burnish a little bit just to make sure that that's going to lay nice and flat. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on my little flap here and fold this over. And that gives me my little box. That is what my lip balm is going to slide into. Okay, fits just right. I didn't put it all the way in because I thought it'd be easier to grab it if it has a little bit of room. Okay, so that is the first step. Then we have one of the Everyday Arches dies. So this one is, it measures 3 inches wide. So when you are pulling it out, I think it's the 3rd largest, 4th largest. It's the one that measures 3 inches across. Okay, which is going to be just a tiny bit wider than your little lip balm holder there. Okay. So I've embossed this using the birchwood embossing folder, and I feel like it gives a little bit of a beehive kind of texture. And then we're going to bring out that texture a little bit by, okay, the heart sequins are on last chance, currently unavailable. Yeah, that they are on last chance, but they are coming in stock. So we will get more in stock, but then once those sell out, we won't get more. That's what that means. Yes, thank you for checking that, Mia. All right, so I'm going to bring in my blending brush and a little bit of crushed curry ink. And I'm just going to come around here and add a little bit of the darker yellow to my little beehive here, just to bring out that embossed texture. There we go. Really quick and easy. And then what I've done here is I've actually scored, you probably can't see it because of the embossing, but there's a score line here. I scored it, so this way, 5/8 of an inch in from that straight edge. Okay, so I'm going to fold that score line, that 5/8 inch score line. And if you recall, this was 5/8, right? So when we go to glue that on, it's going to glue flush and make our base stand up really nicely. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add glue to my little box that I made. I'm going to add it on 2 sides. Okay, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to snug that in. Whoops, not that way. Almost did it the wrong way. What am I doing here? That's going to get glued. Ooh, I have to think about this for a sec. So I'm putting my glue side down. I'm centering that on there, and then I'm folding this up. Okay, and you want it to be centered. Give it a burnish, and that way when we open it, it stands up like that. Okay, so we get our little, that's our little base. Our door for our beehive is actually the same body that we die cut for the bee, just cut from black. And I'm just going to take and trim off, I don't know, 1/2 inch from the bottom. You can kind of eyeball it. And that is going to get glued to the base of our hive to be the door. So we'll add a little bit of glue. And we're going to pop this on, centered-ish on our hive. There we go. Just give that a little bit of a squish to make sure that glue sticks. And then I have a couple of little honey pots that I've fussy cut from the DSP. So we're going to glue those to the front of our hive as well. So I'm going to put the taller one at the back. So that's going to glue there. Flush with the bottom. And then this little guy is going to go on with the dimensional. So we'll pop that one on here. There we go. There's our pots of honey. And then we've already built our bee. So he's going to go on flying onto the front of our hive. So we'll just add a couple of dimensionals. And we're going to pop him on. Just like that. Okay. And then this, again, my little speech bubble. Same die. So lots of ways to use these dies, not just as a bee, right? It was the door on our hive and it was also our speech bubble. So this sentiment is actually from the Be My Valentine. Okay. So I did some masking. I inked the black, then I masked the black and inked. So I did this. The reason I did this in advance is because it takes a little bit. So I didn't want to take the time to do that live on camera, but that is how we do it. And I'm going to add a dimensional here. And we're going to pop that on just like that. And there you go. Slide our Burt's Bees in there. And there you go. Isn't that a cute little gifty? So fun. All right. I love this little gift. If my team are watching, you may see this come back to haunt you. You may be getting bee flavored lip balm or honey flavored lip balm for your team Christmas gift. All right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is a cute little fun fold. I demonstrated this fun fold a while back, but I love it so much. It folds flat for mailing, but then it also opens up like this. So it's just kind of a cute little freestanding fun fold that I think, again, super cute baby card. Now, these are a new sneak peek from the new catalog. Let me show you. So we have these new, what are they called? Hang on, I have the name of them. Oh, here's a full pack. Foiled frames and labels ephemera. So we have lots of ephemera packs with different images and sentiments. These labels are my new fave. So they are pre-cut. And they actually have a white label and then a frame as well. So if I were to pop this out, you can see that there's a gold frame. So it works just the same as the dies do. And these happen to be the same proportion as the dies. So you can layer these with the dies. I was quite excited to discover that. But these have so many. You get 2 of each sheet, lots of different sizes. These are like card front size. You can stamp on them. Just really, really great ephemera labels. So those are coming in the new catalog. All right, so let's get to putting this one together. So I'm going to start with my card base. Again, this is just a standard 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Petunia Pop. And then I have scored, I will show you my template. I always like to do a template. So I have scored at 1/2, 1 3/4, 3 4 1/4. Okay, so those measurements run all the way across. And I'm going to start by folding that middle score line, the 4 1/4 inch score line first. Okay, just like I would a regular card base. Then I'm going to open that, and then I'm going to go down to the next score line and fold that one inwards. Open it, next score line, fold that one inwards. And finally, my last one, which is only a 1/2 inch. Okay, and you can see how that's going to roll in and create our little pillar there. So to glue this, I'm going to just make sure I burnish this really well. That will help ensure that my card lies flat when I want it to, and I want to put it into an envelope. So when I go to glue this, keep in mind this is going to stand up like this. So I'm going to fold this flat. No, I'm going to fold this flat. Holy cow. Directions are hard today, you guys. What's going on with me? So I'm going to put some glue just on that little 1/2-inch tab. And then I'm going to fold this whole thing over. And when I go to stand it up, theoretically, I will have a card that it's supposed to, looks like it's supposed to. So here we go. We're going to put a little glue on this 1/2-inch tab. I'm going to fold this shut just like it's a card, regular card. It is a card, a regular card. And then when I stand it up, look, I have my little pillar, and it's a perfectly square pillar. That's an easy way to get it square. Okay. Whew. That was harder than it needed to be. All right, for my little sort of mini card here, the flap that opens, this piece is 2 3/4 by 10 1/2, and it's scored at 5 1/4. Okay, so this is old olive cardstock. So I'm going to crisp that up, and we are going to go ahead and glue that right on there. So a little bit of glue. And we're going to pop this on. I'm paying attention to the bottom edge and the 2 sides to make sure I get that nice and straight. We don't want a crooked flap here. Well, it's going to be crooked because that's already stuck. Let's try that again, Lena. Holy cow, today is one of those days. Partied too hard with the Easter Bunny this weekend, I think. Let's open that flat. That'll make it easier to see what I'm doing. There we go. That's better. Okay, there we go. We got our card base. All right, now to decorate this, I'm going to dump out all my little bits here because I've got several. I've done some advanced stamping and I've left some just so that you don't think that I'm a cheater and do it all in advance. All right, so we're going to start by stamping on these little strips. These little strips are going to go on our pillar. We're going to stamp one of these little bee contrails on one of our strips. So I have somewhere in here my stamp. And so I'm just going to have my little bee coming on at a diagonal. So I'm going to ink my little contrail stamp here. And it's going to come on just like that. Okay. I'm also going to do the same thing with my panel for the large flap. He's going to be kind of coming on from the bottom. So we're going to kind of stamp it down there. So again, we'll ink that up, a little bit of black ink. And there is our little contrail. Okay. Now we can actually glue these onto our card base. So we'll start with this flap. It's going to get glued. I should tell you this measures, what does it measure? 2 5/8 by 5. Okay, or 5 1/8. 5 1/8. It's a narrow 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So we'll add a little bit of glue. I agree, Louise. I think I may have to crack open the Pinot Grigio this evening because I'm you know what? I will have a toast to the Leafs as I watch the hockey game tonight. That's what I will do. Sorry, all you Ottawa or Habs fans. I'm a Leafs fan. All right, now we're going to glue on our strips. So they are going to go on the front and the inside of the pillar. You could certainly add one here if you wanted to. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but you certainly could. These just measure 1 by 5 1/4. So it doesn't take a ton of cards of DSP, so you certainly could add the extra one if you were so inclined. So we will glue this on, hopefully straight. Straight seems to be a challenge for Lena today. And then we're going to add our second one on here. There we go. All right, there is our cute little card base. Now let's put together some bees. Get all of my bits and bobs here. All right, we've got our 2 little bee bodies. We're going to stamp some happy faces. So we've got Smiley Happy Bee is our larger bee. So we're going to stamp a happy face on him or her, as the case may be. And then we've got kind of Sleepy Bee. So that is going to be our little bitty one. There we go. And then we're going to stamp our antenna. Oh, look, I already stamped those. Good for me. I was a little nervous about stamping those things on live camera. I'm not going to lie. All right, let's put our antenna and our wings on our bees. So there are two different sizes of wings. Okay, we've got the larger ones for the larger bee. So again, we'll just add some seal to the back and pop those on. There we go. Oh, those ones need to come over. They're out a little bit far. There, that's better. And then on our little bitty baby bee, we've got some smaller wings. So we'll pop those on. And then again, the easiest way to put the antenna on is just with a glue dot on the back of the head. So glue dot there, and then just pop the antenna on just like that. Look how cute that is. So adorable. I can't believe I've waited this long to play with this set. Silly me. This is what happens when you're waiting for a new catalog. You get to use all the things that you've been looking at for months and haven't gotten around to using. It's great. All right, so there we go. There's our mama and our baby bee. So we're going to put our baby bee on the pillar with a dimensional or two. So we'll go 1 and 2. And he's going to be flying up, I don't know, right about there. And then I have some little flowers. Now these I have already stamped and die cut. These little stems are actually from the Be My Valentine. You see why you need both, because you can do so many things. So I just stamped and fussy cut the stems and leaves. So we're going to go ahead and glue them on, just a little bit of liquid glue. Do not need much for these little lightweight pieces. There we go. And we'll put this one on here. Oops, stuck to my sticky finger. Let's put that down and stick it that way. Then it'll actually stick. And then we're going to add our flowers. Now I did color in the centers of my flowers. There is a stamp that you can actually stamp the inside of the flowers, but I just took my little Stampin' Blends marker and just colored them because I was in a hurry. I didn't want to bother taking out another stamp. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add these. So just a little bit of seal on the back of each. So one here and one over here. All right, now let's stamp our focal image. So there is our little hexagon ephemera label, and we're going to bring back our cute as can be and stamp it in black. There we go. All right, so this is going to get popped up on our flap. So a couple of dimensionals. Oh, Charlie is an Avs fan. The Avs have a good team. Actually, I've seen a few simulations that have the Avs and Leafs in the Stanley Cup final. That would be an interesting little rivalry there. All right, we're going to add our mama bee here, coming on that way. So I'm going to just add a couple of dimensionals to mama. There we go, lining it up with my little contrail. All right, now on the inside, we have a basic white panel. This is 2.5 by 5. So that's going to get glued there. And for this, I actually grabbed sentiments from the Cutest Onesie stamp set because there are some great baby sentiments in there. So I'm going to stamp a big welcome to your. So we're going to stamp that in black. And then we're going to stamp new baby in Petunia Pop. All right, Charlie, you and me, we're gonna be meeting in June for the Stanley Cup final. There we go. And then I also added, just to kind of bring the little flower on the inside. So we're going to stamp our little stem in Old Olive. So we'll move that out of the way. So a little bit of Old Olive. Oh, let's make sure that's fully inked, shall we? There we go. And then the little bitty flower. So this little flower is from the Be My Valentine, from this one. The larger flower that I used on the front is from Meant to Be. Okay. All right. So let's just stamp our little flower here. Nope. Just put my finger in the Petunia Pop. It's that kind of day, girls. It's that kind of day. And then just a quick little bit of marker to color in my center of my flower. There we go. And that is going to get glued inside our card. Get that in there nice and straight. And there we go. Oh, I did add some of our little in color dots. So we'll add a few of these little guys. We'll do one down here. And one, I don't know, one up here. And then maybe another one up here. Let's stick that on. There we go. You like that? Such a cute, I mean, honestly, this paper and the stamp set is so, so, so cute. I can't get enough. All right, so there is number 3. That is number 1. And then there are our little Burt's Bees lip balm holder. Here are a few more ideas. So this one I put together from scraps that were left over on my desk. After I'd finished designing for today, I just had some extra bits and bobs laying around. So I just threw this together. So this is just one hexagon that I cut in half. Stamped the flowers on the Petunia Pop and then just fussy cut some little bees out again. You'll always be the one for me. I love this. Okay, and here are a couple of fun folds. I was actually contemplating doing an all fun folds live today, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I'm a little bit of a train wreck after the long weekend. So this is a 2, 4, 6, 8 card. I've demonstrated these before. They are not hard to do at all. Literally, you take your DSP. It's 5 1/4 by 12. You score it 2, 4, 6, and 8. You do an accordion fold, and then you just layer all of your pieces. So these are just different sizes of the hexagons. So I've used the frame and the solid image, and it's a great way to showcase the DSP. You see both sides of it, but super, super cute. It's mounted. I mounted it on an old olive and then a Petunia Pop base, but super, super cute, super easy. Great way to show off the DSP. So I was debating doing that today. I'm glad I didn't because it would not have gone well. Here is one more. I showcased this fun fold a few weeks ago. Maybe it was a month ago or so now. But it is a pop-up. So you open it up and you have this sort of step out pop-up on the inside. So the front is kind of boring, right? Boring and simple. And then on the inside, you get a little bit of a wow. So there you go. Some fun ideas for the adorable Meant to Be bundle and cute as can be DSP. You like those? All right. Let me just look to see. You guys enjoying those? Thank you, Mia. I'm glad you like them. Okay. Cheryl, there was no school yesterday. I did have school today, but my brain has not re-engaged after the long weekend. So I'm a little out of sorts today. All right. Glad you like them. Yes, be sure to like the video. Thank you. All right. Let me come back to me. And look at that. It's only 5:38. I sped through those. Maybe that's why I was all thumbs, because I was going too fast. In any case, thank you for joining me today and watching me fumble through. I appreciate you coming out every week to see what I have for you. If you have enjoyed this video, please do comment and give it a like. It really helps me out. And I will see you next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.